Hello guys, and monthly is going to be first. You voted. This doesn't mean that twin flames are not coming up. They are coming up very next week. So let's kind of go with general messages. And actually, from what I see, there will be twin flames over here as well. First of all, my promotion, speed up promotion, is still on. I'm struggling to catch up, especially this weekend. I was like lying down in bed and relaxing and more or less recovering from a kind of like stomach bug kind of thing. But it is still on, so that means within 7 days you get it now instead of 3 weeks if you order regular. If you order a rush, you get it within 3 days, and if you order urgent, 24 hours. And that's it. Let's start with this. It was interesting. I was shuffling cards and I was thinking, which kind of card decks do I kind of like pick? These are general messages for all the signs for this kind of like transition of Leo. So this is basically almost until the end of August. And very similar messages I'm getting here around and around. There's like this Nautilus, right? Fibonacci, if you really wish. And then from this deck, I got the Burden. Look at that. It's kind of like interesting card. Actually, probably I should put this on autofocus so you can see it better. Look at that. It's saddled with whole bunch of stuff. Oh, you need to do that. And even the rooster on top of the head. So just kind of like being bombarded with things that maybe we shouldn't be doing. So 6. And then another 6. It's talking about a time passage, and this makes so much sense. We are entering Mercury retrograde, and of course it's going to be some kind of possibly memory lane. It might be somebody showing up. And then we have, this is law of attraction. The law of attraction, there is like this universal feeling of belonging. So 3 6s are not the devil's sign. 3 6s are twin flames, soulmates. Something will be really cutting through over here. Now, this is also a very interesting card. It's like talking about, there is like that spiral in there, and it's the quality of events when a lesson, it's not really quite integrated. Cycles that we kind of like really are challenged to break. We need to revisit a pattern from a new perspective. So when we get this card, it's kind of like a reminder that although maybe sometimes appears that we are going backward, it's, oh my gosh, I'm never going to catch up with these bills or stuff like that. The truth is that you are now standing at a higher ground. You know how we've been through elementary school, we kind of like learn certain things in biology, history, right, whatever. Then you get to high school, you're learning the same thing, but much more. You're seeing it from a different kind of like perspective. So this is kind of like telling me that we will be looking at our circumstances and learn something. And we now, with this Mercury retrograde, will be pulling something from the past, something that maybe burdened us, something that kind of like the time is up, sort of a thing, right? If it is a twin flame, then we need to really look at it and say, hey, wait a minute, this is all awesome, but it doesn't work for my life, or it does work in my life, and I will continue with that, right? So no more how did I get here again kind of a thing, right? It's, if this is like something that sounds familiar to you in your dynamics with others, it really kind of like maybe you're realizing that you're repeating an old story with the same sort of a person. What I say, maybe they're attracted to you because of kind of like your easy acquaintance, and you kind of like can wrap around their own qualities. But this is also kind of like telling me, meaning the person, this is kind of like typical with twin flames. Twin flame is more or less an energy not of a person but of a soul, and I think energy kind of can jump from a person to a different person. So meaning the same person in a different bodies can be the case over here. And like you're saying, oh my gosh, I feel that it's a lots of self-blame for some people. How did I get here? How do I get out? And I kind of like it, because when we get bothered with something, which obviously here we are kind of like really really bothering, then we are actually able to change it. There's like definitely echo of the past that is happening over here. Like, and we can see it here, this passage of time. But look at this, like this shoulds and shouldn'ts. And who is imposing on you stuff? And if you're doing something and you don't really like it, or that it has no function, then why are you doing it? It's kind of like time to really do it, because you can always go faster, you can always try harder, you can always reach the top. Hey, how about, stopping that rat race, stopping that struggle kind of a thing? Because it tells me, and that was like me over the weekend, hey, you really will not have the energy if you keep doing that, right? Chances are, like, that this kind of like issues. Hi, Sophie. See, she's leaving her little prints over here. Chances are that like maybe lots of things that you feel that you should do are really in your mind. It doesn't mean that they have to weigh you down, right? So it's really, 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 really time to lighten up over there. It's really time to kind of like really figure out what is the burden in your life. Because you know what they say, you keep repeating the same things over and over and over, you're not really going to get different results. Something will really need to change. So I really think it's going to be lots of internal work, lots of stuff that is again coming to the fore. But in a good way, because it's going to get resolved with kind of like this telling me this like law of attraction is working. It is attracting emotions, persons, situations. So thinking positive thoughts and telling yourself, you know what, I always done this. Let me kind of like try to do things kind of like differently this time around. This actually will work this time. So shifting the patterns, shifting the perceptions, not really jumping on, issues or words that people tell you, kind of like doing things differently will actually really, really be effective at this time. So let's go into individual Taroscopes, and I also want to just give happy birthday to Leos and toward the end of the month Virgos. So Virgos are already kind of getting ready, and Leos are going to have an awesome time. So let's start. Hi Capricorn, and welcome to your August monthly. So let me preface this that sometimes this is not going to resonate because cumulative energy of some other issues have been stronger. So hence I always kind of like tell you, and sometimes I forget to tell you, check your sun sign, check your ascendant, your rising sign, check your moon. That's certainly kind of a core when you're just like looking at general readings. Of course, nothing beats private reading. And also sometimes it's really good to see a Venus. Venus is kind of like how we kind of like treat relationships, what is our approach, and Mars will be their approach. So if you are washing, check their Mars sign. So let's start. Bottom of the deck is 9 of Pentacles and Chemistry. This is actually a lovely card. It's very much, in accordance with your own element. This is actually really lovely. And it is really talking about kind of like understanding everything that you can bring to the table, everything that you have to offer, as well as kind of like long-term directive, how kind of like to go forward. And there is like maybe chemistry. Maybe somebody already is in your life that it kind of like is a refresh, kind of like zest and enthusiasm, or it simply can be kind of like somebody new, like you see this little Cupid over here. I kind of like see the really strong fire and water over here in addition. So that can mean a few things, whether the person is in designs or that you are going to kind of like be expanding yourself, because you're right in the middle of these two elements, right? So fire is about you raising your kind of like energy level and going into action, and which means could be dating, could be a whole bunch of stuff. But what water kind of like means kind of like getting kind of like deeper in the core. So it could be upgrade of whatever you're doing, and reaching this point is very important. This is kind of like learning what you have, what you're bringing to the table, in order to kind of like really now be able to kind of like join being with someone. So let's see what else do we have. Let go of control issues. This could be one. Wedding. Healing family issues. Free yourself. Finances and career. And why does this look so weird? Here, let me just let you see it. Engagement, wedding and engagement. Why am I getting so much of these this month? It is safe for you to love. Love yourself first. For yourself, love yourself first, which is pretty much this card. It's not only love, this card, it's also respect yourself. And then you have separation. Wow. So let's leave the chemistry here and see where this guides us. I'm going to be telling you my little kitty cards, because not everybody is familiar with them, but also look at the pictures. They're kind of like really important. They're giving us a part of a clue. So let's start. First and foremost, in the past there was like an issue that needed to be healed. Maybe you felt stuck. See this kitty, 8 of Swords, being stuck in the tree crown, tree crown. Oh, maybe I should just like, just have a day off today. I cannot speak. It says your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. The reason why you got stuck on some issue, even though the issue had nothing to do with who you are, with your past, the issue is very much connected to how you were when you were growing up, and that's when all the crap happens, right? And it's not really rational. We are children, we want what we want. Immaturity brings a huge level of narcissism with it. It's kind of built this way. It's basically a part of survival. And we kind of like freeze these scenes in our head, and we want them the way we want them. Oh, daddy didn't give me an ice cream when I wanted. And it's kind of grudge that kind of like, it kind of left an emotional impact. So somebody like right now in your life rejecting something, it's a big blow up, where basically the whole issue was not a big deal, and it has to be placed in a perspective. And generally this is kind of, yeah, it can be healed with psychotherapy, but energy work is much better for that. And it's kind of like really weird. It needs to be unstuck. And yes, and look at this, 2 of Wands and a 6 of Wands. It is like still very stuck energy, I have to tell you. Like what really needs to be done here, and look at this here. There is the cup wand here that is kind of bolted. The emotions are very strong over something. But there is like definitely a way that we need to think, some new way of thinking, some kind of like new facing forward kind of a thing. And then you have like this 6 of Wands, which in the upright position would be victory. But in this particular deck, look, we are seeing somebody running away with stuff, right? Look at it, it's my bird, it's all mine. And, you know, all these other cats are looking in a kind of like a really envious way. Kind of like, oh, you know, I wish to be him, I wish I'm this. So now, when 6 of Wands reverses, it is really telling me that that's the whole thing, that you want what you want, and you're not getting it. And the reason when you're not getting it, it's most likely karma or whatever. This is not the point of the lesson. It's kind of like you're missing the point. It was this movie Disclosure with Demi Moore, Michael Douglas, where he was basically being almost like just before firing, and he knew that this is happening. He had to kind of find a solution. So there was like this silent friend who didn't want to reveal their name, kind of helping him, and I was telling him that's not it, that's not it, that's not it. That's kind of like, if you've seen the movie, you will know what I'm talking about, but the whole point is like, we keep doing it, right? And this is not a solution the way it has been going. So solution for now has to be kind of like turning things around and actually just releasing control. Did you have this? Yeah, and you did have the let go of control issues as well. Releasing control and kind of like trying to kind of find, roll that back, dial that back where really you first time discovered that you can feel that emotion. Try to remember what was in your childhood and just see how this relating to this particular incident that maybe you feel stuck about. Maybe it's fear, maybe it's denial, maybe it's a whole bunch of stuff over there, right? That's what it is. I do see here that it was like some kind of breakup, and maybe the wedding is kind of like not happening. Maybe you planned a wedding that it just like didn't go there. Maybe somebody is married in a situation and does not want to dissolve it, even though maybe they promised it. Because I see here King of Swords, and I really don't care. This is Celtic Cross. It has the category. Cards speak to me in more ways than just here's your box, and just like orders in the box kind of like has to be kind of like taken care of. Well, in this box, you know, I have flour. In this box I have eggs. If I put it together, I can make bread, right? So I always kind of like look at the combination. So this is clearly telling me there is issue for some of you. There's issue which is kind of crucial, and maybe this is kind of like reflecting to this kind of like feeling of stuck, because I do see that maybe this card that kind of came as the underlying excuse me, is really talking about you kind of like recalling yourself, how you want to be, how you need to be, because there is lots of doubt over here. There is lots of like, I want this. And this is probably normal human thing, but this is, ego is the lesson that we need to learn in this life. And I get it. We want what we want, what we want. You are showing up here, and this, whatever is happening, is affecting you in so many different areas of life. You're trying to control the situation, but look at this. Let go of control issues and 7 of Pentacles reversed. This could be the one, and then 9 of Wands reversed. Meaning, okay, I just, there is a point where you cannot control anymore. And if you try to control, you're going to break it. Like, just think about tightening the nail, or the screw, pardon me, tightening the screw, and you just want it to be nice and firm. But there is one point, if you just like do it too much, it's either going to get stuck or sealed, or it's just going to make such a big hole that is not going to make sense. So it's kind of like that really fine point over here. It's saying something is really coming to that edge. Something will, of codependency, which is also your card. And now you have the karmic card over here. Something is happening for you that this month is going to be a little bit on a kind of like downturn. If, you know, there is a silver lining in this particular kind of like combination, it is that the devil is reversed. The devil reversed means kind of like looking for the exit, finding how to do things properly, finding how to do it in a healthy way. Kind of like, if I'm a healthy person, if I don't feel what I feel, how would I react? And it's kind of like waking up to that kind of like situation, because look at this inverted pentagram, which kind of like, it's focus on a negative, focus on drugs and alcohol and working too hard, spending too much money, flashing money, not being able to hold relationships, not being able to hold friendships, being angry, just like being very overly materialistic, which kind of like this tells me here, you're trying to control your life, you're trying to see where this is going, and now it's karma telling you, well, you know what, sorry dude, I just really don't think so, because look at this. It's the kitty here spinning all the time. You really don't know what kind of like game you're going to get the next day. Sure enough, you can set the stage, which you're trying, but here I think karma is having a much bigger lesson for you, because you want to hold onto some relationship. You want to hold onto something, and it's telling you don't. So let's see, why is it telling you this? Because this could be the one and it says you have already met the romantic partner you seek, is combined with like this 9 of Wands. When the reversed is this seasoned warrior is like now giving us, forget it, I have lost too many times, I'm not going through it, had it enough out there, kind of a thing, right? We have 7 of Cups, and then we have like 6 of Pentacles. So this is our third 6 here already. So I had a 6 of Wands, then we had the Devil, which is 15, 1 and 5 is 6, and here we have 6 of Pentacles. So this is definitely kind of like karmic, soulmate, twin flame situation of some kind, and also we have a karma card to boot, for sure, for sure. And it is kind of like feeling that, okay, if I release this, what options will I have? Will I be getting what I want to get? This is the ultimate card of giving and sharing. Maybe there is a feeling of resentment in a situation that you have given more or that you didn't get what you needed. But it also is really telling me that there is like a part of you that needs to be worked on. That part of you that, hey, how much do I give? Because in the traditional decks, you see here we have a whole bunch of yarns and stuff like that, right? And here we are really talking kind of like, hey, you know, I just want all the toys from me. But the other 2 kitty cats are looking like with kind of glee and, hey, I want to play with this as well. So the whole point here is, you know, yeah, you can share, but you don't have to give everything. You can sort of like measure how much you give, and with that, it's going to be so much better, and kind of like the whole kind of like game can actually work better. For you, this came reversed. So when is this reversed is like really telling me there is some imbalance, and that imbalance is probably the name of this reading. You're totally being thrown off your game. Totally. So maybe somebody just like said, hey, I don't want to be here. You know, maybe you've thought in your head, hey, you know, this is heading good way. I want to get married. And there are all indications, all the signposts. And then the person says, I'm sorry, I just really don't think this is working out. Like, completely blindsided, kind of a thing. And there's another karma card, Judgment reversed. Woo, and the Hangman reversed. Oh boy, Capricorn, what's up this month? So this is really talking about, as I said, somebody is breaking something up. There is like this sense of being wronged. Judgment reversed is really talking about somebody knowing the right from wrong and choosing wrong. And this is giving them opportunity to change that. This is giving opportunity to come out clear, to kind of like release this. This also kind of like really gives me this past life situation. It could be that you're really entangled with someone whom you don't even know very well, but it kind of like felt really familiar, and you really kind of like felt that the person feels exactly the same as you do, because there was like so many other things that were overlapping, but it turns out you were really wrong. And there's like the essence here. You see the hangman or the hang cat in the situation. Why is this kitty afraid of the mouse? Right? What's up with this? Oh my god, the mouse. Generally they would just go and run there. So that kind of like would be the lesson. Hey kitty, you are the natural predator, you are the boss of the situation. But no. So in this situation, there is a lack of understanding of the situation. It just like feels like loosey-goosey, and it feels like, you know, somebody says, we're going there, and say, sure, and then they just move it that way. It feels very destabilizing, for sure. And partially is because this is a karmic debt. And I think you are guys the ones who are paying that karmic debt. So what it means, please grab one of my karma readings. They're like really, and this is the last month I'm going to have them for 120, because they're really sentence intense, and really gives you kind of like what you set out to accomplish. You wrote it for you, so the personality is going to be the same, but the issues will keep changing each time you resolve something, as is giving you twice the opportunity knocking on your door this month. You need to resolve this. Resolve it by looking how this looks from the other person's perspective. That's very hard when you're on the receiving end of rejection. So be compassionate for that person, to be compassionate for what they've been through with you. That's hard. And that's exactly what it's saying here to do. It's saying, look, you kind of like need to do this release, and you need to be able to kind of like transition to that space. And it's not going to be easy. It's definitely telling you this kind of like is the end of the road for yourself. Look, whenever I see unicorn, I always think Capricorn. And like, I mean, I should probably rename your sign to unicorn. It kind of like would make more sense to me. Of course, sun's stubbornness, right? And here we go, like there is like this new dream world, new kind of like motion. Or this also can talk about, on one hand, you understanding that you're kind of like captive in the situation. And we have seen it over here as well. We have seen this inability to work, inability to push it forward. You need to work through some stuff that you have. This is not, I'm not excusing this other person that I'm seeing it over here. This is horrible pain, somebody telling you it's over, especially when you think it's serious. It's even when it's like not serious, when you have like date or 2 or 3, it's again leaving us all puzzled. Honestly, this kind of online dating is just awfully bizarre. And I really think social media and online dating is really hurting chances of relationships, but this is just me. So this can mean that maybe you're expecting messages to come, right? Maybe, oh, look at that. You're really trying to reconcile the difference here. And what you're not realizing, the price you will need to pay for it is like way too high. When you're getting the Empress card, that is like so important, especially if you're a lady. If you're a lady and this came reversed, that means there is a clinging situation over here. Really clinging. You're holding on to this. That's control. No, I want it. I want it. I want it. Imagine Titanic is sinking and you're holding on to it. No, I have to be on a dog. The truth is, jumping off is basically where you're going to save yourself, which kind of like is the messaging you are getting, right? The healing definitely needs to take place, but there is like that kind of energy that is kind of like tearing you apart. If you are a gentleman, then this card means that you are not sensitive enough toward yourself, mostly. You are blocking yourself from some kind of emotions. So the way out is actually really utter feeling of friendliness, and surround yourself with your friends. Surround with yourself who know true you, with friendship. And I'm Aquarius. I can preach about friendship. And I really, really like get like really allergies when I hear, oh, he's my friend, it's my buddy, it's blah, blah, blah. No, like you're a buddy, or you're his buddy. So where are you when he or she was moving? Where were you? See, the friendship to me is a rare quality. It would be like a diamond. How many diamonds do you have, right? In your possession, like, and how big are they? How big of the heart they have? It's a very rare quality, which really means that there is another person who wants to be with you, where there is no sexual tension. It could be, but most of the time it isn't, because sometimes if it is, then it's probably going in a different direction. Who actually chooses to be with you? And they might not, like you at times, and they'll still be there with you. So that's the closest to unconditional love. Nothing comes closer to that. Not regular love. There is no such thing as unconditional love, because we always have some kind of expectations. Weirdly now that I'm saying this, because this month you're being told you have to turn these expectations to yourself and find these people that they're your true friends. Connect with them. Be with them. You need to kind of like rebuild yourself on the inside. Kind of like it's that feminine feeling of touch that really needs to be done. I can see that attraction is there and stuff going on. But let's get there. Let's first kind of like handle who you are. There could be somebody showing up, really, fire or water. I definitely see that. But I also see that if this seed of something new, it's almost like a revolving door for you, like one thing is out, another one thing is in, and I can see that you're hesitating because it's kind of being with somebody else and not really giving them your full attention. I mean, that's also not right. Also, there is like sort of kind of shakedown with the finances, and this again, hello, this is not necessarily one unicorn, but this would be you. Something is off. Maybe you have already overspent. Certain things from the past will be coming to the surface. Maybe the bills, that's the Knight of Pentacles, that they need to be paid. Maybe all taxes. You'll be receiving stuff that might not really be something that you want, and it's also kind of like maybe something that you thought is going to come later or not come back so quickly to get you. You have a Knight of Swords and you have a King of Cups. Or maybe this is simply, well, that's a weird combination. There are lots of people do they want something from you, almost like there is a price to pay for something here. See, this is definitely money. This is definitely harsh words. And this is kind of like really taking an emotional toll. So at work, you might feel that, like this, I think this is like owl, but eagle owl kind of a thing. It's like really the fastest of the knights. You can see this like two knights with a comparison. One is like zooming through, another one is just grazing kind of a thing. So both being reversed, it's really talking about certain processes are going, either not going in a direction where you want to go, because look at this, each of them is pulling their own way, or simply like really disturbing you emotionally. I would really check your bank accounts. I would really also make sure that you change your passwords, because this also has this quality that somebody can break in. Swords can be very conniving when they're reversed, and especially this is kind of like double thing with the finances. But as I said, it could be just simply feeling drained. I don't know, maybe you own a house and it's going to need some kind of like repairs, or a car is not going to, I don't know, it's going to be a whole bunch of things that will actually go wrong with the finances or at work. So be extra careful, go early, leave early, arrive early, make sure you're really diligent at your work, because you are actually, really going to go through the period from all sides. My gosh, you're having everything from all sides. So it's no wonder that you just kind of want to make it easy. And this is also the card here that talks about shortcuts. And shortcuts are not going to work. Shortcuts are going to explode in your face. So just be very careful. So how do you feel? You feel that you really want what you want. It looks like you either have somebody with whom you have this like huge chemistry. You want this person to make an effort, just like what you want to make an effort. But this person is not doing that. They're really not on the same page with you. And this might not have anything to do with you. It might be going something in their life that maybe you don't know what's going on. And if you're kind of like assigning this to yourself, oh, I'm the problem and no. Because here you have the Temperance reversed. That's kind of like a really interesting card. So there's the angel cat over here showing up and saying, hey, look, I release you. Well, see, that's the compassion that I was talking about. You deserve more. For me, I can eat grass. I can eat the other stuff. You see this kind of like rainbow? It's for me, but this is for you. But this is reversing. So would you want to be with someone who is not sold on the same 100 or 1,000,000%? This is really telling you that something is really, really off. Wrong time, wrong place, wrong person, wrong situation. 4 of Swords and 2 of Swords. You're spending lots of time thinking about something that you want. This is again going back to the past. You want something from the past to happen. And then again, you have a second card with the blindfold. Look. And Swords, both of them. It's Moon. This card is talking about making a choice, being forced to make a choice, and it's not a choice you want to make. Or you having two choices, because look at this, like walking this tightrope. It's like, it's a narrow kind of edge to do it. It's kind of like feeling of running away from your problems, then hey, with what I see, I really cannot blame you. So what's happening on the outside? To boot, you're actually getting, even though it's saying it's safe for your love, actually it is very unsafe, because you are getting the lovers reversed. Somebody's choosing to be free. Somebody's choosing not to be in a relationship anymore. Look at the moon. See the moon again. And the Ace of Cups. So it's a push and pull. It's trying to convince somebody, we can make it together. There's certain things, stages, something is going in the final stages over there. The moon card is never a good card to have in a relationship. It's talking about secrets and talking about being distracted, talking about not really having, you don't have the full deck, you really don't know what you're talking about. Usually I see that when there is a third party and the wife is attacking this, let's say, a lover. Forget about her. Think about who took the pants down. Think about he feels now that he's a victim, right? Like, this is not the point of the story over here. But there is like this big hope. And plus, I really think there is like somebody coming in, and I knew that somebody will coming in because of that strong chemistry over here. There is like still an essence of kind of like freeing yourself. It's like, when you fess up to yourself, it's like what you do to a therapist. It's like fess up. Kind of like really expose yourself, your life, your all insecurities, and you feel later. It's like cleaning your hard drive. Hey, I don't need this. Like, why do I have all this kind of crap on my hard drive? Let's remove it. All of a sudden, your computer starts to work better. Like, we are not much different than computers. We are electrical beings, guys. When you die, they try to resuscitate you with giving electricity to you. So you have to remember that there is like just too much. You are actually coming to the fritz over here. Really, really are. I want to basically clarify this ace. Bizarrely, and I don't follow every single dream that I have, but it was like a really strong dream that was telling me I need to clarify each ace to really see it. So let's see. Why is this Ace of Cups here for Capricorns? You want what you want. Scholar, reunion, and young woman. You're really thinking about reuniting with your lover, and the lover could be younger than you, or some of you may have issues with children as well, and maybe there is a child that is like distant or something like that. But my first thought was somebody, who could be a little bit infantile, and that actually can be you as well, or just whole connection. It kind of like feels push and pull. It's almost like struggling to maintain something that is not maintainable. And it has like really nothing to do with that person. It has to do so much with you getting two karma cards. It's like pushing you away. You're getting this free yourself card. That's right out of the gate. You are being taken to a different level. But to be taken, you need to clean all this debris and kind of organize all your files. So love yourself first, because other people always will leave you out in the cold. There is always a sense that we are not belonging completely in their world, and vice versa. It's just like simply how it is. But this is important. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Sometimes we get in a situation that we beg and we plead, and it is for the kids, and it is for this and that. None of that are really valid reason to continue something. It's just patching things up. Did you ever drive on these roads where you have one patch on top of another and just like it's very, very bumpy? So why the bumpy ride, right? For which reason? Knave of Wands and Knave of Chalices, and there we speak right now. And it's going to be after you feel that you're completely let down, that you're completely, it looks like you really want something and you are not going to listen one word of what I said. You're just going to write what you want, and you're going to damage yourself more to the point that you'll be just like simply pushed away. Then you'll have no choice. Then nurture your own wounds and love yourself. And then something happens. This could be your children, this could be your friends, or this could be just simply kind of like being energized. Remember how I said I see the fire and I see water? I see fire and water here. So there will be new opportunities that will be starting to show exactly your self-respect, kind of like pulling yourself together. And you guys actually do have a good self-respect. But in this case, something is like really pushing you into kind of like that downward spiral. But here, there are good things that will happen. The moment when that switch happens, the moment when you flick the switch, it's like switch, just like one motion. It takes forever. You go, oh, and that's kind of going to feel the whole entire month. When you click it, the moment when you flick it, it's going to be your biggest fear. You're facing the biggest fear and denial in your life. And the moment when it happens, is going to open something that is going to be so beautiful. Because I really initially didn't know what the hell this means, separation, and then King of Swords, and King of Swords can be judged, but King of Swords is somebody kind of like who's very smart, kind of really pushing things, and both of these cards are really good. Some of you are going to, whoa, the World and Seven of Wands. Yeah, some of you will separate, and this can be actual person. If you're not with somebody, you're going to be able to remove issues from your hard drive that don't have to be there. Like, it's enough. And you're kind of like making this almost like executive, kind of like intellectual function. And you're saying, look, I can feel this way, sad, pathetic, begging, or I can feel this way when I'm really comfortable with who I am, what I have, and kind of like really starting to see sort of like glass half full or glass half empty kind of a thing. So there is like, okay, if this means this has to happen, if this person really wants it, fine. You know what? I shouldn't do that, because if it's meant to be mine, it's going to come back to me. Maybe I'm the one who is kind of like that straw over the camel's back that broke the camel's back. Also, this really kind of tells me that there's going to be some kind of like separateness, even if, it could be just simply distance. It can be physical distance or can be emotional distance. But it's really telling me that it's going to really push you to sort things out, because this king is really big sorter. This king is saying, look, I've been there, I know it, and look, he is really comfortable where he is. This is like this typical Arthurian sword, the sword in the stone, where he can pull it out if he wants to, but no, look at how comfortable he is where he is. So this card is, again, the cycle is continuing in something else, and it's a really lovely card, because it's saying, look, you always wanted something else, and then something else is exactly the same thing. So we keep going through these karmic cycles. Look at this like big infinity that we see over here. This card also means it's happening right now. It's Earth card. Obviously, the World card is Earth card. And you need to understand that this newfound thing, this kind of like karma accomplished, you're cleaning this karmic points. Remember how I was saying some of you might do it. Just make sure you're staying on there, because this card can tempt you, because this goes up, but it also goes down, just like the other two cards that I've told you they are karmic cards. So stand on your decision, reach it, be very kind of it's very important that you don't jeopardize yourself. And I think you did let yourself down on many things, such as involving in petty arguments, pushing through very strongly, demanding things very strongly. All of that, each of them can be explainable and it can be understandable. But the truth is here that you're really dealing with some twin flame energy dissolution of that force that kind of like had a hold on you, and you were even doing things that I'm pretty sure you're not very proud of. And it is a time to release this energy. So just dissolve your own guilt, dissolve all your kind of like bad things, and just say, okay, so how would it feel if I play this game of life without this sweaty palms? You know, you play poker with sweaty palms, everybody knows you have nothing, right? So how about you actually enjoy things you can enjoy and just go with that. Wow, this is very difficult reading, Capricorn. So let me just grab one more card for you. This one is jumping, and you got movement, but it's reversed. So let's see what this is all about. It says, do you feel as if you're walking in circles, seemingly not getting anywhere? Consider the spiral that travels up and around. 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. Even backward movement helps you progress and reach your goal. You may need to revisit some of the places where you forgot to look for treasure. I think it's the past lives and going all the way back to the childhood, guys. It's a therapy time. Check my energy sessions. They're really beneficial. Another message of this card is this. Lessons need repeating for those who refuse or are unable to learn them the first time. Consider this another invitation to mastery. It is asking you to move on in a new direction, to lighten the load, and really understand that you actually deserve better, guys. And you are insisting to stay in a situation which is not the most productive for you. My dear Capricorns, as I said, it's a general reading. You should check your ascendant, you should check your moon, and optionally Venus and Mars. But really, nothing beats private reading with me. We kind of like have this art therapy session together in this situation. Karma reading is definitely something I recommend to you, Capricorns. You can check me out on cattarot.ca. And if you want your tarot fix in the meantime, also check my Facebook and my Instagram for daily dose of tarot. So let's go with this. Thank you so much, Capricorn. I would love to hear your comments. And you see this little thing, this little kind of button here to subscribe. If you haven't, please click on it so that way you're invited to my live. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there. All the best. Love you guys.